You know, even when you've earned your chops, you still gotta earn it. You still gotta keep proving that you earned it. You still gotta keep growing and you know, that's life. That's how you know you're alive.
So being an empath in New York City is very difficult, but these are some of the tips that I've learned so that I can just kind of be myself. One of the things I always do is wear shades. Shades, so important. Also, earphones, so important. Also very important not to actually be listening to music, because you have to be aware of what's going on and stuff. But you put the earplugs in, the earphones, and people assume that you're busy and they don't bother you as much. And then the third step is, for an empath or a germaphobe, gloves. Always have some handy dandy gloves with you.
I'm in this dirty New York City bathroom, which took forever to get into, even though I went in line and paid for something to get the code off the receipt. Everyone else just comes in here and stands in the door, which is fine. But this is what I do to leave the bathroom. See that? I got tissue because I didn't see anyone washing their hands. Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to show you all some things that I do as an empath that lives in New York City and slash germaphobe. As you know, I'm also a germaphobe. Go germaphobes. These are things that people like to make jokes about, especially like germophobia, for example. But it's definitely not a joke for me. The things that trigger me and my germophobia and the reasons why, having grown up, you know, in the environments that I did, and things not being as sanitary and clean as they should be, the things that trigger me in my germophobia, I try to keep my home very clean, which nobody would know because nobody comes to visit and nobody cares. The things that trigger my germophobia, they're fucking real and they're serious to me. And so for people to dismiss how unsanitary or unclean things make me feel is very annoying. My husband has learned to like do a lot of things, you know, and I try very hard to not make him have to partake in the rituals that I have to partake in. But there's like certain things like, well, you are around me. So, you know, I need to know things are taken care of for my sake and sanity, or you cannot be around me. And most people just choose to not be around me. Because I guess people want to be messy and dirty. I don't know. When I was in high school, people would be like, oh my gosh, you're such a germaphobe. Like, you're never going to make it in college. You know, and I was like, what are you talking about? People don't know your life, but they love to talk and assume. Anything is better than growing up in foster care. Like, college was a breeze compared to foster care. Everything is a breeze compared to foster care. Everything. People love to like go back and forth with you, you know, social media, you know, bullies, all that shit. Everything is a breeze. You people had parents. So anything is easier than foster care. Being an empath in New York City was very difficult. I know the first few years, it was insane. You know, I couldn't figure out the directions to places. I couldn't orient myself. I'm not good with that in the first place. Back in those days, you know, the smartphones weren't so smart. You had to have a lot of money to have those, and I didn't have one. You know, I had a phone that didn't have internet on it for a while. I would get lost. I would cry. I would be crying in the middle of Times Square, down in the subway, being like, I have no idea what these signs mean and where to go and what to do. I would be crying, okay? Being a germaphobe on the subway, I can't really show you guys now because, like, you know, we have a car and I drive as much as possible to avoid the subway. But I took the subway for 8 years. I mean, we've had a car for several years now, but, you know, I still take the subway from time to time. I will stand mostly if it's packed and I'm not tired. You know, when I lived really far off, I lived off the last stop off the L. I lived off the last stop off the 7. I lived off the last stop off, you know, far down on the A. I would usually live a good hour from Manhattan when I first moved and lived in New York. As an empath, that was very difficult because the subways are very loud. It's dark. The weather conditions are extreme. It's like it's hot or it's really cold and you're really uncomfortable a lot. As an empath, you feel all of that extremely. And so I would always just try to prepare myself for the ride that I had. If I know if it's going to be hot down there, take my jacket off before I I get down there, bundle up close to me so that I have it, maybe use it like a little pseudo pillow, if you will. It's New York, so no one's gonna be like, why are you wearing shades at night? Or why are you wearing gloves? It's warm. No one's gonna say that to you or ask you anything. It's fucking great. So New York is a great place to kind of get away with your neuroses. When I go home and people aren't catering to my germophobia, it's annoying because I can find ways to make it work. I don't eat out a lot because I don't like other people touching my food, other people's food. I feel like probably a good 1/5 of the time I've ever eaten out, there's been something in the food. Probably 1/4 of the time I've ever eaten out, there's been something wrong with the food. Probably 1/3 of every time I've eaten out, people have been rude in the process of getting the food. It's too much. For me as an empath, it's too much to deal with. I just want to eat. I make my own food for the most part, and I love that. And my husband likes to eat out. I'm just gonna be honest. I feel like that's something like white people like to do. They like to eat out. Because, I mean, if you see it too, like in the media and stuff, like they talk about all the time, like, oh, eating out, eating out, eating out, eating out. And don't get me wrong, you see a lot of videos of like black people in, fast food places, but I'm just saying, like, white people love to eat out. Whereas a black person, if you could have your grandma's cooking, or you could have your mama's cooking or eating out, you'd probably be like, oh, mama's cooking, of course. But white people would not choose their mama's cooking. You see what I'm saying? So that's why they like to eat out. It's something that they do, they generally enjoy it. And so my husband looks forward to opportunities to eat out because he's like, oh, fun, isn't it fun, the good times? I'm trying to eat, I try to eat healthy. I try not to eat out as much. He'll eat out and I will make my own food. And that bothers him because he like wants to eat out more. And I just want to make my own food. I don't want other people touching my food 24/7. Like that's the food I'm putting in my body. No. On the subway, usually like if it's winter, then I have gloves. So I'm like, okay, I don't mind like holding on to this. And I make sure like I never touch my face with my hands for practically any reason. Like if I'm frustrated about something, I'm not like, right, and I like touch my hands, my face. I don't do that. I don't go, and like touch I do not, I've told you guys this a billion times before. I don't touch my hands to my face. It's like a rule that I have for life. Just don't do it. So don't do that if you're like touching Subway with your gloves. Obviously, like don't ever touch your face or eat something, you know what I'm saying? Like with the gloves. I would say like as an empath, like just the way that people are so focused on what they're doing here and the way that they deal with the homeless population, that was a shock to me. Wow, look at this. Anti-homeless technologies. Obviously they don't want homeless people sitting on here or sleeping on here because it's Lincoln Park. I try so hard. So, I guess they, don't want anyone laying down on here because they're trying to make their building look nice. And I understand, but it's just like, why don't we invest in helping people? What about that? When I first got here, I would see someone lying on the street and, they peed themselves and the piss is dripping down the sidewalk. And I'd run into the local business. I ran to a YMCA and I was like, there's a guy outside. I went to the YMCA because I was going to the gym and I was like, oh, there's a guy outside. He just peed on himself. And they're like, okay, what do you want us to do? You're YMCA. Like, I don't know, call for help? God damn, what the fuck? Like, I couldn't imagine in any other town besides like a big city. You know what I'm saying? Like in a smaller city, besides these huge cities, you would go somewhere and be like, and see that, and someone, like, they would get help. People wouldn't be like, what do you want me to do about it? Stop my day? Yeah, like, this is major. I guess living there is not, so. And it can be a lot. A homeless man, when I was nannying children with me, right? A 9 and 11-year-old, and he, is peeing on the wall and all of what that entails. Protests going on for, abortion and stuff. And these kids want to know, what is this? What's going on? And you're like, how do I respond to this? This is crazy. Like a kid in another city really wouldn't be having moments like this back to back to back to back to back. So it was a lot for me as an empath to deal with. But eventually I did get used to it. The kind of chaos of it all, because there's also really great moments. It's a great city. It's a great place to be and work and live and thrive and all that. I think it's important to be realistic about things as well, because there were no videos like this when I first moved to New York, which is why I did one of the first videos that I'm aware of about New York that was talking about the realities of living in New York. I just came very unaware. And one of the great comments that I got from one of those videos is someone said, people think that when they move here that it's going to be like an amusement park, and it's not. And that's true. Like, I really thought that there would be people standing around New York waiting to help you if you got lost. Like, Home Alone. No, you ain't Macaulay Culkin. Maybe if you were Macaulay Culkin, but you're not Macaulay Culkin, So protect yourself as an empath, and don't feel bad about self-care, guarding yourself. Sometimes I forget that I'm wearing shades and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not gonna feel horrible about wearing shades. This is something that I have to do to be out and about, because it's too much. A lot, the lights, the sound, the stimulus of it all can be too much. I know when you're living in New York, it can feel like you never leave New York. The sounds, everything is just like always going. So take your days for self-care. Do what you have to do to pamper yourself and take care of yourself. I love getting my nails done. I love going to Sephora. Those are things that I like to do. And if I have an opportunity to do it, I will. Take care of yourself. Take your you time, me time, take care of yourself. Don't ever feel bad about that, because that's what everyone else is doing too. The difference is they're not empaths. So they're not drained of energy because they went to the store. And I have a lot of things that I'm working with. So being an empath on top of all of those things is obviously a very overwhelming experience. I had to learn to let go, which is something that was very difficult for me, because I also had a sort of vigilante complex on top of being an empath, right? Being an empath kind of gave me this vigilante complex where anyone had a problem and I'm like, I'm there because I know what that feels like. And I know, and it's like, okay, but at the end of the day, I did that shit my whole life. I literally decided to 2020, it's all cut. To me, I feel that was a waste of my time to have gone that hard for people who couldn't go that hard for themselves, didn't have enough insight or courage to stand up for themselves. There's very few instances where I stood up for someone and it was necessary. Maybe they were thankful, but was it necessary? I'm sure you went back to the same guy, you went back to the same behavior, you go back to the same job. You know what I'm saying? So I had to let that go. And if you are an empath, and especially as a Black woman too, there's a lot of media images out there encouraging us to be warriors for other people. No, you're not gonna be able to level up. 2020 Level Up series. I told you it ain't stopping. My eyes is on the prize. And even though I'm still not where I want to be, you never get to where you want to be, or you'll be fucking Buddha. It's about the journey. It's about the growth. So I feel like I've learned a lot, and I'm not going to discredit that. I've learned to let go and let God or whoever the hell it is you believe in, but it ain't going to be me. It ain't going to be me. No, because very few people have stood up for me when I needed someone. And for those who have, I have their back unconditionally. For people who have supported me, I support them. That's it. I don't have nothing else for nobody else. Not including children and the elderly and animals. But adults, I swear to God, if you are an adult, you are on your own. You're not going to be getting much from me. I'm not staying extra for work. For what? For the clap? Whenever I work anything, people be like, oh, are they going to pay us double? I'm like, they better, because ain't no way I'm staying here without it. I need that double time to stay extra. I already been here 8-10 hours. You know what I'm saying? What else? Not feeling so strongly for people who are in situations that I didn't put them in. So, it's like I try to give people encouragement, advice, and, people's lives speak for themselves, not listening to my advice. Just to be honest, then your life speaks for itself, and so does mine. Like I said, I'm continuing to grow and continuing to change, but I'm getting what I want. You can have it all, you just can't have it all at once. I believe that. And so I'm grateful. That's something that's really helping me right now, is practicing gratitude. And I talk about that a lot on my Twitter. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter. Danie Steele, of course. That's my name. Don't wear it out. Remember all those phrases in the 90s? Good times. And I remain grateful. I remain humble. I've always been a humble person, believe it or not. It goes in and out. I remain humble and humbled by my life experiences. Absolutely. Things have not been, I tried so hard. I tried so hard on a lot of things that didn't pan out. And I'm sorry, but that is humbling. That is a humbling experience to see other people try and things work out for them. And then you try. It's not like you didn't try. It's not like you tried a little. You was grinding like everybody else was grinding and shit still didn't work out. And so you're like, oh, damn. Like, so I still gotta be grinding. It don't stop. And, you know, if you get it early on, you take that for granted. So I'm thankful. Truly am. And very still hopeful it don't keep lasting as long as it's been lasting. But I am thankful that life has shown me, you got to work for it. Every part of it still, even when you've earned it, even when you've hit speed bumps, you know, even when you've earned your chops, you still got to earn it. You still got to keep proving that you earned it. You still got to keep growing and you know, that's life. That's how you know you're alive. All right, now I'm getting into Taoism and, you know, things that have been helping me. And I'm going to get into that stuff more too. You can't be feminine if you are constantly angry. 2020, level up. Keep your eye on the prize. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
And that's what we as germaphobes and empaths love and need. Okay. So that's it. I'll talk to you guys about it more. Thanks. Bye.